Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges, and joining me today, we've got a very special guest. She is the Oatmeal Queen, 4-year swimmer at Tufts University. She's now in Boston, where she authors the Hungry Swimmer series on SwimSwam. Zoe Gregorace. Zoe, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well.
I'm pretty excited to talk food with you. It's one of my favorite topics. I travel around the country and eat pancakes, and you travel around the country and eat oatmeal. And it's okay to diversify your breakfast foods. We've between the two of us, I feel like we kind of have you covered for your first day of the meal. But before we get into food, let's touch on your swimming career. How did you get into swimming? You swam 4 years in college. Tell me a little bit about your aquatic background.
All right. So I've swam for a total of 15 seasons. I'm now part of the Swammer Club, so I'm retired. 2 years into retirement. It's going great, right? So I swam club in Long Island, New York. I started when I was about 5.5. Didn't know how to learn butterfly. I just kind of did a little doggy paddle down the lane, and that was my tryout. And they're like, "Oh, you're in." So that sucked me in automatically. And I come from a swimming family, so I'm the oldest of 3, so I kind of paved the way. And my 2 younger siblings also swim. And then I swam mostly butterfly, breaststroke, IM in high school. Came to Tufts as a freshman. Still continued the 200 butterfly, 500 free life. And then I kind of mosey on over to the distance lane, which then shortly became the sprint lane my senior year. I feel like I've kind of done it all. And I love college swimming. I miss it dearly. Maybe I'll revisit swimming in the form of masters at some point once COVID's over. So that's kind of my swim career in a nutshell.
So in a nutshell, what I'm hearing is that you were a 200 butterflyer, and that's why we at SwimSwam like you, because everyone knows the 200 butterfly is the best.
Top. Exactly.
So you have deep swimming roots. You've been in the pool for a long time. And as such, you have taken what you learned from your aquatic pool and now are giving back to the swimmers of today with your Hungry Swimmer articles. Now, how'd you first get into what you think swimmers need in their diets?
Well, I definitely remember growing up in high school, there was really so much nutrition advice as an athlete thrown at you. You didn't really know what to stick with or what would work for you. So that was a little tough to navigate in high school, and then move on to college. That was also tough to navigate. Just balancing academic life, social life, preparing your body for swim meets, for practice, for training trip. So I kind of saw a gap there in my own experience. And then once I graduated college and went on to study nutrition in grad school, that's when it kind of dawned on me that other college and high school and even age group athletes are kind of missing that nutrition advice or background from someone who's also experienced it on their themselves. So I feel like that's kind of why I approached SwimSwam and really decided to, like you said, give back to the community that really provided a lot for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, you take a look at one of your articles and there's recipes. You give step-by-step instructions on how to make these meals. And then it really tells you why it's good, what it's doing for your body. So let's start with the what maybe every swimmer might be lacking. What do you feel like, looking back in those high school, college years you really could have used in your diet more of?
I definitely think hydration is a big key. I feel like the easiest thing you can do for your body and for your performance as an athlete is to drink water. I feel like that's definitely one of the top. Let's see. I feel like also just fueling your body for practice every day. Sometimes I used to walk into the pool at 7:45 a.m. before an 8 o'clock lift or practice, and I would maybe eat half a Cliff Bar. But that can't really sustain you for a 2 hour practice or a 2 hour practice plus an hour lift. That really can't sustain you. So I definitely think adequately fueling your body with good nutrients. Um, and then in addition to that, hydration. And then if we're really getting into the nitty gritty to finish it off, I would say recovery, especially training trip recovery, is very important.
Now, if you're okay with it, I kind of like to dive a little bit deeper into each of those.
Okay.
Hydration wise, what have you found? Again, looking back on your own career, where did you come up short, and how have you found ways to combat that?
So I think I remember in college, my coach, Adam, he was very adamant about having a water bottle on deck, or even in the weight room. And that's something I totally didn't, that was not my thing. So looking back, I feel like that was definitely something I could have done and a habit I could have picked up that would have improved my swim performance and recovery as an athlete. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, for morning practice, I think one of the first articles I wrote for SwimSwam was pre-practice or pre-meet fuel. So those were some really quick and easy recipes with adequate amount of carbs and protein and fats to sustain you for a long swim meet or for that grueling practice before the dining halls are open. And what I think is really cool that I got at in that article was all the recipes are super simple that you can even make in a dorm room with, bread, peanut butter, and a banana. You're golden. So I think definitely for me, looking back on my high school, college career, I definitely fell short on the practice fueling myself. Yeah.
And so you get your master's in nutrition,
Food and nutrition policy.
Food and nutrition policy. You take a deeper dive into your own swimming career and kind of look back and say, okay, like these are some ways that maybe I can improve. And you start writing these articles, like you mentioned, one of the first ones you did for us, kind of ways to prep, to get yourself going. Like you said, I think it's super common morning practice. You get up, maybe it's 7:45 for an 8 a.m. lift. Maybe it's you get up at 5 for a 5:30 swim. I certainly know that's what I was doing in high school for doubles, for morning practices. It's like, what if you don't want to eat anything? What do you suggest then? You talked about how hydration can be really important for going into those workouts, maybe nutrition too. If what's something that could be small and light, but maybe better than a Cliff Bar for those morning workouts?
It's a great question because I too could not stomach a power bar or a Cliff Bar during high school doubles in the morning. I just was not about eating. That's a tough one. I feel like another challenge that young athletes have to face or just learn for themselves is what works for their own bodies. So me personally, I don't want to say I forced myself to eat because I knew I'd be in a lot of pain if I didn't. But I kind of did. I did know a lot of friends would do like Power Bar or Gatorade, like sort of gels that you in a little squeezy thing that you kind of squeeze into your mouth, some sort of power goo with a balance of electrolytes and carbs and sugars. I feel like that could be worth trying if you're not into eating a bar in the morning, but I don't really have personal experience with that because I kind of knew if I didn't eat or if I didn't have at least a glass of water, I was really going to be struggling in that morning practice. So
And I think that's a great answer. You have to kind of develop a relationship with your body, know yourself, and you know that if you don't have anything, it's going to be a struggle, especially at the end of that main set. Earlier you mentioned getting meals with the right balance of
Mhm.
carbs, proteins, etc. For someone who for someone like me who doesn't have an extensive knowledge of nutrition,
Mhm.
for your average swimmer who's not really thinking about, oh, I need this many grams of protein, this many grams of carbs. Let's say for a post morning practice meal,
Mhm.
what are you looking for? What are you recommending? And or just saying I would eat this, and why?
They don't call me the oatmeal queen for nothing. Definitely. I'm trying to think. In high school, my favorite thing to do was after a Saturday morning practice. That could be anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Craziness. Um, Getting a nice fat stack of pancakes at the diner. That was kind of in a chocolate milk. That was my thing. Um, but then later on throughout high school, I really enjoyed cooking for myself. And I feel like during that time in my swim career and just high school career, that's really when I fell in love with cooking and cooking breakfast specifically. So I kind of learned to make those pancakes, but a little healthified. Throw some fruit, some nut butter. Don't go crazy with the maple syrup. Um, Oatmeal is great. You could see more oatmeal recipes on my Instagram page at What Zoe Eats, or even within my articles, I mention a lot of oatmeal recipes. French toast, definitely carb centric breakfasts. I would say for post practice, post swim meet to kind of refuel and recover and recharge.
Mhm. And so let's dive a little bit into that recovery topic. You say carbs are
Mhm.
good for post practice recovery. Um, Again, if you want to see these recipes at What Zoe Eats, that's with 3 E's. So Zoe
Yeah.
Eats at What Zoe Eats on Instagram.
Mhm.
She's got tons of recipes. I'm scrolling through it right now. It's basically food porn. It looks so good. Uh,
Best compliment.
it's a compliment. These dishes look amazing. A lot of good oatmeals, but a lot of other stuff too. I'm looking at a fat stack of chocolate something pancakes that look great, but there's also avocado mushroom toast. There's tons of stuff. Anyway, recovery. What do you find is best for recovery? You said carb centric for after a morning practice. What about maybe at a swim meet after a prelims, but before a finals race? Um,
Hmm.
what just generally what kinds of foods might someone want to eat for something like that?
I automatically thought of Panera. That was, I feel like every swimmer went through that phase, or, in between prelim finals, you ran to Panera, you did your thing, you went home, took a nap, and then you got ready for finals. That's definitely what I did in high school. Um, Again, the big piggybacking off the Panera thing, like a good hearty sandwich, I think is something that would be really good for recovery and to kind of replenish your body for finals. Again, you got the carbs from the bread, you got some protein from whatever lean meat cold cuts you want to put on there. If you want chicken, turkey, ham, I, yeah, I always went for the sandwich. um, yeah, now that I recall, even in college, we would always do big subway runs from the coach bus. Our coach would get a bunch of them. Um, so yeah, I feel like my go-to is always a sandwich and a nap.
Sandwich and a nap. That makes a lot of sense. So you're the oatmeal queen. You've got thousands of Instagram followers, tens of thousands. So what drew you to oatmeal so much? You mentioned you fell in love with cooking a little bit. As later as you got into your swimming career, but again, looking at your Instagram page, you've gotten really creative and really branched out, it seems, with the recipes that you have been trying and creating. So tell me about your food journey.
So you said, why do I love oatmeal so much? And the first thing that pops into my head is it's so versatile. Um, there's endless flavor combinations. You could do sweet with fruit, with nut butter. You can do savory. I tried that in the kitchen. It's a little tough. You do a fried egg, avocado, bacon, make it savory, a little salt, pepper. It's actually pretty good. um, my food journey. I honestly started this account in college when I was trying to figure out what healthy and balanced eating looks like in a college setting. Not only as an athlete, but a student athlete. And you just have a lot of facets to your life, going to swim practice, staying on top of your schoolwork, balancing that all with a fun social life. So I definitely started this account back then, maybe my junior, sophomore year, and I would kind of be that weird girl taking pictures in the dining hall of her oatmeal. And yeah, I guess from there, I kind of started interacting with my followers and seeing what they're enjoying, and drawing inspiration from other nutritionist pages that I followed on social media. Again, I stayed pretty strong with the oatmeal thing, but I did kind of showcase my unique creations and kind of documented my journey in getting out of my comfort zone in the kitchen and posting those on Instagram. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to improve my craft, if you will. Still trying to come up with different recipes and flavor combos. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting out of my comfort zone and trying to start looking for new recipes that aren't necessarily breakfast centric, even though that's my favorite.
Breakfast, not just because I eat pancakes for a living, but breakfast is always is my favorite meal as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a little bit different than the rest of the meals usually, but I enjoy it a lot. You mentioned you started this account in college. You were taking pictures of your oatmeal in the dorms or in the dining halls. For
Yeah.
that swimmer just getting off of morning practice, going to the dining hall, grabbing some breakfast, what were a couple of your go-tos in terms of what you can make in a dining hall for oatmeal?
Oh boy. So at Tufts, in our favorite dining hall, there were two dining halls on campus. One was significantly better, in my opinion, than the other one. Um, there was always this big wall of cereal, kind of like a Dylan's candy bar, where there were different little boxes that you could pull the little shovel thing out and fill up your bowl. So that was really hard to get into, avoiding the cereal wall at all costs, just because it's just laden with sugar. But Tufts Dining Hall also had this pre-made vat of oatmeal that was really helpful. I feel like not all dining halls would have that, but my advice, if you do want to make oatmeal and eat it in the dining hall with your friends, you can buy the little pre-made cups. A bunch of different brands nowadays have. You can buy them in bulk in Amazon, actually. And I would stick with the original flavors, try to do the ones with no sugar added. And all you need is hot water. You could do a glass bowl or cup, heat that up, throw the oatmeal in there, kind of let it steam, and then see if there's fruit in the dining hall. Try to avoid the cling peach stuff and the syrup. You don't want that. You want fresh, whole fruit. You could do bananas, apples. What else? Pear. There are a lot of pears in my dining hall. I ate a lot of pears. Sometimes there were fresh berries too. And then, see if they have some peanut butter, almond butter, that kind of stuff, crushed nuts. That's a great topping too. And if not, no shame, just bring your own jar. Yeah. And you can really try to make try to make use of what you have in the dining hall, and then supplement the rest with your own stash.
There's certainly no shame in bringing your own food to the dining hall.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be almond butter, your own fruit, anything you need to get your oatmeal game better than everyone else's, because that's the real goal here.
Exactly.
You're trying to beat everyone on Instagram is what it comes down to. So, again, we both are connoisseurs of breakfast foods. You talked about how much you love making oatmeal. I'll make pancakes every once in a while, but obviously I go out. I go out and around a lot to a number of different pancakeries. Do you have a favorite place to go to buy oatmeal? Because I feel like that's a little more of a novelty item at breakfast places. Certainly, maybe specialty kind of oatmeals. But have you had one or two places where it's like, oh yeah, if I really want to treat myself, I'll go buy their oatmeal?
I haven't really come across a place where you can kind of buy, like, you can order it the way that. Here's the thing. I'm biased. I like my own. And I'm sure you like your own pancakes too sometimes more than other places. So I'm going to say no. If I want oatmeal, I'm just going to make it myself. But pancakes, on the other hand, I do love a good stack from the diner. Some IHOP action's the best.
I don't think I've ever been to an IHOP for a practice of pancakes.
Really?
Yeah, really. I mean, I've been to an IHOP, but
Oh, okay,
not for
good.
an episode of practicing pancakes. So maybe we'll have to do that
Yeah.
in the future. I've been to a Waffle House.
What do you think about Waffle House?
I'm fine with waffle.
Yeah.
That's Chase Kalish's like go-to. It was his go-to after practice breakfast, and
Nice.
yeah, we really they like knew his order and everything. It was
Oh,
right above
that's
his
when you
plate.
know you're VIP at the
That's when
Waffle
you know.
House.
And yeah, no, I could tell I was in the presence. It's like this guy owns this Waffle House.
Oh my God.
You could tell. It was pretty great. Okay, so there's no one place that has your heart for oatmeal besides your own kitchen. And you talked about how now you're kind of starting to expand your cooking, like more than just breakfast. Tell me about that. What are you getting into for lunches, dinners, and for outside the breakfast sphere?
Each day is pretty different. I'm always looking to, I feel like the adult thing to do is to follow a recipe, but that's not really my thing. I kind of like to improvise in the kitchen. I don't really love recipes at all. Um, so I'm trying to figure out my way. Pasta's super easy. I love, have you heard of Bonza, the
I
brand?
haven't.
So they make chickpea pasta, which is really cool. So instead of enriched flour or whole wheat flour, whatever, the pasta is made from chickpeas. So it does have a little more protein than your average flour pasta. So I love kind of whipping up bowls with pesto or olive oil or marinara sauce, some sauteed vegetables, some salmon, chicken, sausage. But I am very much a creature of habit. So once I figure out something I like, I'll eat it a few times a week. um, yeah, but I love trying to find new kitchen gadgets. I bought this thing. Have you ever had zoodles?
I have.
The noodles
Yeah.
that are zucchini? Yeah, so I bought this contraption on Amazon where it has like a little rotating thing and you churn it and it kind of spits out noodles. So I'm very excited to play with that later. But yeah, I feel like I kind of geek out on kitchen gadgets and stuff. But yeah, for lunches, some days I'll have a smoothie, some days I'll have leftover pasta, or I'll make a salad, or avocado toast is kind of a staple for me. I can kind of alternate the two. If I have oatmeal for breakfast, I'll have avocado toast for lunch. And same is true. If I have avocado toast for breakfast, I can have oatmeal for lunch. I just kind of mix and match with what I know I can make and what I know I like. So yeah, I'm not really getting too adventurous with the recipes. So kind of exposing myself here.
Has quarantine affected that at all? Has it made, more time at home? Has it made you more adventurous in the kitchen, or just less so? You're at home all the time. It's like, I don't care. I'll eat the same thing for 5 days in a row.
I go through phases. In the spring, I was very much like wake up, oatmeal, hang out on the TV, on the couch, watch TV, avocado toast, like on, autopilot. But recently, for me, I'd rather spend time cooking or making my breakfast. but once in a blue, I'll get this burst of energy and be like, yeah, I want to bake. So I kind of had that surge of energy a few days ago, and I made these really awesome pumpkin swirl black bean brownies. Sounds a little crazy, but tastes real good. So yeah, I feel like sometimes I'll get these surges of inspo and I'll want to bake in quarantine. I definitely prefer the eating part than the cleaning up or the baking part, but yeah, maybe I'll just keep on baking. I don't know. We'll see.
Pumpkin swirl black bean brownies. That if you ever post the recipe for that, please let me know.
I did.
You did. No, I'm looking at them right now. You did. Wow, those look delicious. And yeah, no, I'd like to check that out. That sounds wild. But
it shipped some to Austin. They're pretty great.
That sounds okay. Anyway, so to wrap things up, moving forward, tell me about what you see for you in terms of where your education in the kitchen might go, where your interests are taking you in terms of what you want to do with this food journey that you're on right now.
That is a loaded question. I feel like quarantine kind of made me realize that this was a passion of mine. I guess you can call it food blogging, food photography. I guess I would put my interests under that little umbrella. Yeah, I think I kind of just want to keep doing what I'm doing as long as I enjoy it, and honestly try to keep growing. And my biggest thing is I don't really focus so much on the size of my page or any of that, but I do love when I hear feedback from my followers or people that clicked on a recipe of mine and they kind of tell me how much, making oatmeal every morning has changed their life, health-wise, or just kind of also help them break down that barrier to being a little more adventurous in the kitchen. So I think what's really cool is I've interacted with a lot of people and followers through my website and Instagram and even my articles with SwimSwam. And I think that's really something that drives me, is seeing that, the work that I'm doing and the recipes I'm sharing is kind of making a difference in a lot of other people's or swimmers' lives.
Well, Zoe, I know I certainly appreciate the articles you've posted, and it's always fun to look at the recipes you are posting and see, oh, okay, maybe you can do things at any given meal a little bit differently. But I really appreciate you coming on today, taking some time to talk with us and explain the methods behind your culinary genius.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.